What's good, everyone? This is my guide to Veigar. I've seen him played in Worlds. Of course, Incarnation played him and just stomped everybody, and since then, everybody's been on the Veigar hype train. So this is like the perfect time for me to do this. And it's also cool, too, because Incarnation actually used my build when I get yelled at all the time from people who always say, build tier, Athenes is whack, just do it this way. And so this is the perfect time. So we'll hop right into it. Masteries are the standard 21-9. Nothing too crazy. Sometimes I put points in utility for movement speed when I do a thing called like movement speed race car Veigar. A lot of people have probably heard of that. But this is the build 90% of the time. Now for the marks, I suggest 9 marks of magic pen, just for the fact that you're a super AP carry. You need all the pen you can get. And I'll probably end up building boots of lucidity, maybe. So just get the magic pen. 9 seals of armor. Now this can change. If you're playing against somebody like a Cassiopeia or a LeBlanc or something, you can go for the seals of scaling armor, and I kind of like those, but this is safe. If you're just playing blind or something, you'll probably end up against an 80 champ like Zed or Yasuo. 4 glyphs. Magic resist all the time. All the time. If you're playing against Zed, though, in a game like Ranked, you can go extra ability power for the extra push and the extra bit of damage, and 3 quints of AP always. So for the spells, what you're going to want to have most of the time, in my opinion, is the Flash and Ignite. But in the case that I want to go and gank lanes, I will take Teleport. Or if I know I'm going to get beat in lane, I will take Teleport to TP back. If I'm facing like a Yasuo who I know is good and he's going to stop me, I will take TP so I can quickly get items and go back to lane. Or go ahead and gank bots. So those two most of the time. Barrier, not so much. I would pick Doran's Ring and 2 pots if you think you're going to do well in lane. Crystalline Flask if you're against an AP champion who you think might outplay you, or if you looked at the player's skill level and you think they're better, I would go to the Flask. Or Cloth Armor against an AD champion. Otherwise, you'll really stand no chance. Now, the reason why I chose this clip is just so you guys can see my positioning in lane. She has an advantage on me right now. She's a hyper carry as well, and she's going to be trying to stack tier and, go down that route. But she can outplay me at the moment, and I really want no part of that. Right now, I'm just going to stack my Q, trying to get additional AP, and that's all I want to do until I can go back and get some solid items. So you see right here, I misplay my positioning, and look at all that damage she unloads on me. I have 33 magic resist and still all that, and she's kind of zoning me at the moment, which is fine. Veigar's Q has a relatively high range, which I can use to pretty much snipe CS out there and just keep stacking my Q. Now, one of the more important things in this lane is you really want to stay behind the CS. It's okay, you're going to get behind by maybe 10 to 15, but just don't get behind too much. This will make you pretty much ungankable, He has literally 0 to no mobility in lane whatsoever. He has no escape. I mean, he has his E, but it's a very long cooldown, and it's not proven to, work 100% of the time. It's kind of risky. So stay behind your minions, or just CS under tower. It'll take like 1 to 2 games to practice with, and you'll pretty much learn how to deal with any type of CS, the tower hitting it twice, and there's just rhythms to it that you have to work out. So I see she's gone, and I was about to dip, but never leave when there's a siege wave. You always want this, especially for Veigar. Your Q gets an additional 2 stacks if you use it on a siege minion. So going back, you could pick up Boots of Speed. I would if I was against someone who I was really worried about hitting skill shots, a Brand maybe. But most of the time, you're just going to want to get your Chalice of Harmony. And right now, I had so much gold, I went straight into Chalice, and then I went to Needlessly Large Rod, because I'm going to go straight into Rabadons for 500 AP at 20 minutes, which is kind of like my trademark thing. I don't know, I love doing that. I'll tell you guys just this flat out right now, you should probably just go ahead and finish Athenes on Veigar, The mana regen is just so good. I've seen Veigars use tier, but in my opinion, I don't really like the tier. The tier takes too long. It kind of makes your lane phase weaker than it even has to be. And look at this right here. I needlessly flash, but whatever. I got the kill anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to argue over, oh my god, I shouldn't have flashed. As long as I live, I'm happy with it. So what I was saying is, the tier makes your lane weaker than it has to be. You're already a very weak laner, as I'm going to go over right now. Just don't make it hard. Look at this Lee Sin. Insect. I don't know. I had to throw that in. That was funny. That's what your E is very good at. So the pros, best single target AP nuke in the game, hands down, there's no debate. Event Horizon's very useful in team fights, that's why I like to max it first. Very strong mid-late game, and he's the anti-hyper carry. What I mean by that is, Veigar's already the anti-mage, that's pretty much his identity, but he can instantly burst players like Cog, a Cass. The more AP they have, they're gone, and just the squishier they are, they're gone, so he's great at that. Cons: cog-like weak early game, i.e. lane phase, insanely squishy, no escape or mobility, and you are most likely to be focused in a team fight, which kind of works to your team's advantage if you're a good Veigar and can kite with E. Right here, I go immediately into Event Horizon. Azir stupidly walks into it, and that's his life. He's instantly bursted down, and Lee and I go in on Sion, but we can't get him. But we get the flash, which is good enough. Looking at Veigar's ult here, Primordial Burst. It blasts an enemy champion, dealing 250 to 500 flat damage, and it scales 100% with your ability power. So let's say you have 500 ability power, your ultimate will deal 1,000 damage. Plus 80% of his target's ability power, which, like I said earlier, essentially just makes him the anti-mage in League of Legends. As you'll witness right here, I almost thought she was going to get caught up in the E, but it doesn't work anyway. And as you can see, she has around 200 ability power, which doesn't help her and actually works to her disadvantage, and she just gets owned. And once you get to this point, you can pretty much burst AD carries as well, such as Lee Sin. I was playing a game the other day where it was a Singed with, I think, around 3,500 health, and I could just instantly burst him. And it's that simple. See, there are a lot of things that you can do with Veigar as well. I really like his E in team fights. In my opinion, that's one of my favorite aspects about him, and why I'm going to show you what I max first, which is E. But let's go over some abilities. So here's his passive, Equilibrium. It's pretty much Athene's. Veigar's mana regen is increased by 1.5% for each 1% of mana missing. And it's funny because they made, Riot in this case, made all of his abilities cost 100 mana, 150 mana, but they gave him this passive of mana regen. It's just kind of a thing that works against itself. I don't really like it. Baleful Strike, here's his Q, and this is very important to note. Veigar unleashes a bolt of dark energy, dealing whatever damage to the first 2 enemies hit. For each target killed, Veigar gains 1 ability power. The bonus is doubled if the target killed is a large minion, large monster, or an enemy champion. So if you are jungling, make sure that you Q the large monster and you gain your extra 2 ability, and in lane you always hit the siege minion. Q max is necessary obviously just for the fact that you have to stack your AP. I like to go E next for that 2.5 second stun and W last. You'll be dealing enough damage anyway, but if you aren't, I would just scale up E to level 3 at level 10, and then I would just go ahead and max out W. But by far the most meta way to do it would be to max out your Q, max out your W, your ultimate, and then your E. So here's the game I was in. Rumble was just giving up, and these guys were all in a party and were raging at me because I wouldn't surrender. Which I don't see why I would, because Tristan is a hyper carry, and Veigar is essentially a hyper carry, and we could easily win a game like this, you know? I mean, why play a game for 24 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 and then just give up, is my rationale. But as Veigar, like you see here, bam, easily triple kill. These are plays that you're going to be able to make, and just plays that you're going to have to go out and learn from and experience, because he's a fun champion, man. He's, to be honest with you, my favorite champion in the game, and I hope I was able to help you guys in this tutorial. I had to do it quick today, which is essentially why it's kind of pieced together, just to be completely honest, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So anyway, this is a topic I might go more in depth in later with Veigar, because I really love the champion so much and I had to rush this. But there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you later. Peace!